everybody. It's 2021. We're back. It's the SportCulation podcast. We've made it a whole year. We got it at 2020. We made it. Oh God, it's been a long
Yep.
ride. Hi guys. As usual, I'm your host Yusuf Rashid.
I'm Parse.
I'm Anton.
And I'm Tyler.
Yes, that's right. We've got Tyler back on the show. And why we've got Tyler back on the show? Well, there's this thing called the NHL, which we know about, and the season's starting soon. The NBA season has started already. Football season's coming to an end. Baseball's baseball. But the NHL has finally figured out their days, and they're going to be starting officially on the 13th of January, which is going to be very exciting in a 56-game season. Before we get to, let me preface on what the show is going to be today. The show is going to be mainly division talk. We're going to be making predictions, talking about just dumb things here and there that are happening, yada, yada, yada. Before we get to that, though, an important time in hockey occurred about 2 weeks ago and capped off 4 days ago, and that was the World Junior Tournament, where we see the best players from different countries come together and be, in this case, put in a bubble in Edmonton and play for a gold medal. And all these players are under 20. Some of them are high-tier draft picks that are going to the NHL probably this year. Maybe next year, we'll see. But these are some of the best players we've seen. And now, if you're a Canadian, like us, except Tyler, and sort of Parse, and sort of me, I guess. Anyways, if you're a Canadian, you might know that this year's Canada team for the World Juniors was ridiculous, like unbelievably ridiculous, like so wildly talented that there was for a while, so wildly talented that there was legitimately no way they could lose. Right? They stomped the Germans, they stomped Austria, I think it was. They stomped everyone else. They shut out Russia 5-0 in the semifinal game, and then they lost 2-0 to the U.S.
Why? Come on, guys.
Which leads me to. By the way, Parse, do you have anything to say? You have something to say, and I know you have something to say. So say it now.
Yeah, so most of the betting sharks took the USA at a plus 125 ML that night. So I decided to use my brain and put some money on that. They cashed out, boy.
How much did you bet on the U.S.? Like, how much did you initially put down on them?
I bet 120.
And how much?
Okay.
Wait, what
how
was
much
the
did you
payout?
get back then? 120. It's plus 125. So then, how much did you get back?
So after all everything, the exchange and all that stuff, came out to
Like after fees and everything.
$2.
Well, I have $3.
made 78.
Nice.
Not bad. Not bad.
Clutch.
But this is a quick topic we're gonna go into, and this will sort of be the lead up into what we're gonna be talking about for the most of the show. A lot of people, and they're still debating this now, a few days after that gold medal game, is people kept talking about, is this the best team of all? Is the Canadian team this year, was it the greatest World Juniors team of all time? Because you had all these ridiculously talented kids on that team. And just about everyone I've heard, from Elliot Friedman, Tim and Sid, Dangle, James Duthie, all the TSN and Sportsnet guys, they all said the same thing. They're a good team, but it doesn't matter until you win gold. If you don't win that gold, then you're not considered the best team, despite everything else. Agree? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree, just because it's like that way for a lot of the other sport costs and even other countries, right? I know with when it comes to the 100-meter dash, right, between the USA and the Americans, between the USA and the Jamaicans.
You're saying USA and the Americans? What?
USA
Between America and America.
It's between the USA and the Jamaicans that Jamaica doesn't really count their teams unless they win the gold medal. And I think the same applies here. It's not because it doesn't count. It's mainly because of the stature of success. Over the long years of Olympic running, or in this case of World Juniors, Canada has been the team to beat for the last 2 decades. Before that, it was Russia, of course, and Russia stacks themselves also on gold medal wins. So it only makes sense to judge them on that character.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's when you look at like the NHL, for example, right? And you say like, oh, like Vegas or Colorado or this team is the best team on paper. Yeah, but they're not the best team until they win the cup, right? It's the same argument.
100%.
Yeah, it's the argument people have had for Tampa for so long. Tampa on paper looked great, but they weren't the best until they won the cup this last year.
How many years were they a number 1 seed? 2 seasons?
Wasn't it like 4
But it's also
seasons in
like
a row? They were like
it's
the
also
number
different
one.
hockey, right? It's a
It
tournament.
is.
It's
It
a
is.
one
Yeah,
off
it's a
like
one game,
one
one off
game
sort of
elimination.
Yeah,
Single game elimination
like-
hockey tournament.
Like I feel like
So-
obviously they don't have the time to do like a best of 7, but I would have loved to see a best of 7 series between the U.S. and Canada.
Even just like a best of 3, you know?
Yeah, that would have been nice. Like any best of series, I think would have been good because then you can really see like the better team in endurance. But I think looking back at that game now, and Tyler and I were talking through the whole game, and this is funny to me now looking back. Tyler messages me about 10 minutes before the game, spamming the U.S. flag emoji, and says, "Oh, by the way, congrats on your gold medal." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then they lost.
I also think the Canadians could have used like a first overall talent, but what do I know?
Look,
You know what, Tyler? Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for getting the luck on our side. By you doing that, the gods put us in our favor, and then we got the
Nah,
10.
it's just the U.S. had a better goalie. I feel like that was kind of a very important part of it. Was like our goalie was fine, but wasn't he like 7th round pick?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Speaking as a roster, Yusuf said it.
Regardless of the picks, right? This is like my favorite storyline going into that game was the fact that Devon Levi plays for Northeastern University, even though Tyler and I did not go to Northeastern University.
Close enough.
Close enough. We were like down the street. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we
same
were like
county,
3
city,
blocks down. So
city,
we were like
metro
we weren't
area.
we weren't like that far from the arena where we were like 10
Like-
minutes, 15 minutes.
Not even like 5.
Yeah, we were like a walk down from Mass Ave. Plays for Northeastern, was a 7th round draft pick this year for the Florida Panthers. Spencer Knight, on the other hand, was a 1st round draft pick last year. I remember because I had watched him get drafted, and plays for Boston College. I had heard about him at first because he plays for Boston College. And I'm like, this is awesome. 2 Boston-based goalies taking each other on. And then I realized, oh, they might be teammates soon. This will be interesting to watch. And if you're the Florida Panthers, you better be watching this game.
Yeah,
Because who's going to be the one to eventually be the backup for Bobrovsky or get traded because they're going to keep Bobrovsky forever. And those 10 years at $7 million or however much it is at this point is going down the drain.
yeah. I don't know. I also made the joke earlier on that Florida's just taking a lot of Florida seems to be taking a lot of Boston players away.
The Bucks play tonight, don't they? The Buccaneers play tonight, right? This is just
Um,
I don't know. I think they play tonight.
Maybe, I think so. Yeah, because it's a wild card.
Yeah.
Weekend.
But yeah, so I'm not giving I don't want to give Devon Levi any flack because like he was just a 7th round pick because he proved he can go at this tournament. Like he, now granted, most of the teams that Canada faced in the World Juniors weren't really much of a threat to Canada. So Devon Levi didn't have too much to worry about, but he was still a good goalie nonetheless. Not to mention they had great defense. Oh my God. But you look at when they faced the US, a lot like the 2 goals that went in, I can't blame Devon Levi for. He tried that game. Spencer Knight just ended up being better at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's all we can say at the end. Congrats to the U.S. for winning gold at the World Juniors. Canada will be back at some point. I don't know when.
Will be back.
Would be back. Now, moving forward, a lot of the players from the World Juniors, it was announced, actually not all, but I think like 10 or 12 of them are currently in their respective drafted cities preparing for training camp and potentially going to be on the roster. So I know, for example, after the gold medal game, 6 or 8 of the players involved in that game immediately after the game changed, got on a private jet and flew to California to report for the Anaheim and Kings training camps. So, and who knows? We'll maybe see them in a couple weeks playing games. Now, for the fun, with the NHL season starting, of course, things are different this year because COVID is still a thing. By the way, if you didn't know,
Manitoba just approved the Winnipeg Jets
Yep.
to allow them to play at home.
Yep. Yep.
So
So things are going okay. Now, obviously, things are a little wishy-washy and mismatched here, but we've got divisions set up. We've got all the teams just about ready to go, and you know what? Let's have some fun here. So I'm gonna pull up the divisions. We're gonna go not in order, but we're gonna be talking about top four, who we think is gonna be good this year, and eventually we're gonna get to potential cup winners and then some. So
didn't we already do this previously?
no, we didn't actually.
Yeah, we went through each division and we're like, who do we think will win?
Well, we went through each division just briefly talking about it, and I think it
We
was
did,
mainly
but
just-
now we're gonna get into schedule strength. And
now I think what we did last time was just
we just
picked
did a
division.
prediction of who's
we
gonna
just-
come out.
I think it was just we picked a division, picked a team, picked a random team, and then talked about that random team, but we didn't talk about like everything involved because that's when divisions still weren't like fully figured out, right?
Or maybe we did talk about it and we just didn't record it on a podcast.
Maybe. I think we did talk about it, just didn't record it on the podcast. But we have Tyler here, which will be a lot of help. And by help, I mean he's not going to shut up about the Rangers. So
I will.
okay, I'll take your word for it. All right, we'll leave Canada for last, but let's start with you know what? Let's start with the West. Let's just start with the West. All right, so we have the Ducks, Arizona, Colorado, the Kings, the Minnesota Wild, the San Jose Sharks, St. Louis Blues, and of course everyone's favorite expansion team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Anyone you want to go first for a potential top four?
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
so
my favorite.
Anaheim is taking
expansion team. Sorry.
What did
They're
you
taking-
just say?
Anaheim's taking a hike.
Okay.
They're not doing anything. They don't want to do anything. They just got rid of a coach a season or two ago, and they still don't have any suggestions for how they're going to play, whether it be blue line defense, whether it be strategy. I don't know what that general front office is even doing. I think they're all just on vacation. They are in California. We're just going to leave them as they're gone. They're not even included. Okay? Take it down a step. Arizona, they are a strong team. Last season was a bit of a disappointment. Can you see them coming out as a top four? Yes. But it may be a little trickier than that. You see, because the North, which is part of their division, I'm understanding, it may have 5 teams come out of that. Maybe, maybe not. Don't.
It's 4 out of each division.
Or I mean, Arizona could. It depends. It depends. I would say Arizona is not a lock-in. I'd say Arizona is like more towards the bottom of it, like not like literal
Sure.
8-7, but they're like because of that season, they might end up in the 4th spot, 3rd, or even 5th and out of it. And we're gonna talk about Colorado. That's a shoe-in. Don't even debate it. They're in. Doesn't matter. Los Angeles, bit of a wild card, but probably expect them to not do well just because they're still trying to build the team up. Minnesota, a lot to prove. Maybe, maybe not. More on the I'm more on the lines of not. I think they're gonna miss out in the playoffs, but maybe they could surprise you. And San Jose, that's like a dark horse, I think. St. Louis is gonna be in, and Vegas is gonna be in. So if you want my top 4, it should be St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and that 4th spot. It's so hard to pick. I would ride with. I don't know. It's tough.
I would say, yeah. When you said Arizona, the more I think about it, like
It's
Arizona,
tough.
they have been like improving the past over like the past 3 or so seasons. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. What you said about Anaheim, yeah, they're like there's LA and there's NA, yeah, right? Yeah, you know, like Los Angeles and not applicable.
Well, hey, Parse. I mean, if it makes you feel any better with Anaheim, the kid that won MVP at the juniors this year, Trevor Zegras, he is possibly going to be on the team this year.
Maybe they could surprise you. I mean, it is. Arizona's tough for me to pick.
How strong? I mean, like hockey is not.
It's not a superstar
game.
sport, right?
Yeah, it's not a superstar sport.
Yeah,
and it's like,
But it's based on
I
runs,
mean,
though.
Right,
If
but
you
the
look
Prince-
at like what Ottawa has done, like they've had such good players and they just kept trading them away.
Because there's no like winning culture. There's no consistency. The players need something to kind of like fest in, believe in, and also be on rhythm. And like that's kind of how hockey is, right? If you're not on a rhythm, if you're not feeling good. I mean, look at Corey Perry's career, right? Corey Perry, who was scoring goals all left, right, and center, and then lose a little bit of rhythm. GM's going through lists. They lose Anderson. All of a sudden, Corey can't find the back of the net. It's like that. It's like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, if anything, you have the young guys coming in. If they make the team this year, the bright side is that, well, it'll make a bit of a difference, but obviously they'll need their time to grow, and then eventually they will do well later on. Now, I don't know if Jamie Drysdale is also going to be on the team this year, but that'll definitely help their defense. But again, Jamie's also very young. He's only like 19 years old. Was first line defenseman for the Canadian team this year, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think all of us have the same idea for the West, except for that fourth spot. I feel like that's the difference between like the four of us. So, Parse, you're saying who for that fourth?
Yeah, it's tough to say. You would not be making a bad choice picking Arizona. I'm going to ride with Minnesota to take that fourth spot. I believe in them boys, and I feel like they'll swindle their way through somehow, some way, based on rhythm and the fact that Arizona had a bad offseason, just a bad like playoff season in general, and just kind of wither away.
Okay. Anton.
Yeah, I mean, I said I agreed with Parse previously when he was talking about Arizona.
Okay.
I mean, Minnesota. I used to just call them the Minnesota Wild Card. I still call them that, but that was because it was in the previous system. Now in this system, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because like they're dealing with apart from Colorado and Vegas, they're dealing with like not that many like strong teams. This isn't the East Division, right? So
yeah,
maybe they will, but I feel like Arizona will really step up, and also like
East.
Minnesota. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that like their travel is like the most out of the rest of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's weird, but yeah, Tyler, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm definitely seeing Anaheim at the bottom. I'm not going to beat around the bush on that. I still don't think San Jose really made a good move by getting Erik Karlsson, and I think they just have consistently gotten older.
What?
Hold on.
I know,
Eric,
crazy concept.
Karlsson is great, but Karlsson also gets hurt a lot. Now,
Karlsson also never let injuries heal from the past.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Now, don't get like there are some.
I get that.
There's some reporters out there that are like, if Erik Karlsson is healthy, San Jose is going to take the fourth spot. I'm like,
I'm on that train.
Crazy?
I mean, yeah, but when you play through like a playoff with like a knee injury, like that's going to kind of be with you for a long while.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm still not sold on Minnesota. They're just an older team, and all they have done is consistently gotten older. So I'm not really sure if they're going to make it. Plus, they lost Dubnyk, so they're rolling into the season with Stalock and Cam Talbot, which that's a choice.
That's a tandem.
And then the Kings are just, I still think, pretty young. I do see them moving off Jonathan Quick at the trade deadline, but I think Arizona is going to take that fourth spot.
Okay.
The Talbot could surprise you, man. He played with Calgary, and he wasn't bad.
He wasn't.
Tyler doesn't believe in me, bro.
No, Tyler. The problem. Here's the thing I hate about talking to Tyler. Sometimes is Tyler's a goalie, so anytime I try to say anything about other goalies, he immediately is like, "No."
No, because like the thing is, Talbot was really good for like a 16-game stint when Henrik Lundqvist was hurt, and then everyone's like, "He's a starter." It's like, no,
he's not.
He was on a good Rangers team, and yeah.
All right, so I think everyone's so we're about 50-50 split for that fourth spot because we've got 2 for Arizona and 2 for Minnesota. So, yeah. Well, I mean, Parse said Arizona at first. I'm pretty much the only one that says Minnesota. I don't know. Arizona's kind of in a pickle where like they could just surprise everyone and be like, "Aha!" I'm like, well, we'll see.
I doubt they figure it out.
Arizona could definitely steal a win against like the behemoth teams like St. Louis, Vegas, and Colorado. Actually, I don't think they're going to be able to beat Vegas. Oh, fuck that. But everything else, I think they could steal a few wins here and there. But yeah, so I guess we're all in agreement. St. Louis, Vegas, Colorado, and either Arizona or Minnesota. So it seems like a pretty good 4. All right, let's carry on then. Central Division. We've got the Carolina Hurricanes, Parse's Chicago Blackhawks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Dallas Stars.
He's wearing them on his hat.
He is wearing them. My Detroit Red Wings, the Florida Panthers, the Nashville Predators, and the reigning Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. This is, I think, the first time since like the original 6 era where the teams that were involved in the Stanley Cup finals are playing in the same division, which is kind of interesting. But If anyone wants to start here, go right ahead, because I did not know how to figure this one out besides Tampa at first.
Like who's gonna be in?
Yeah,
Who's
we're
gonna be
talking
out?
top 4 here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you who's not gonna
Don't
be
say
it. I think we all know. So
Chicago, duh.
well, yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Chicago. Maybe they're like a dark horse entry, but like, let's just be real here. Detroit's not going through. Let's just be real here. I'm gonna say, all right. So Tampa, Dallas surprised a lot of people last year. You know, but I think that their defense and like their defensive play is really strong, and so I think that's what's going to lead them through, and that's probably also what got Columbus and Carolina through as well. Like these sort of defensive teams, and yeah, I don't know. Florida is very Florida right now. So I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I say Tampa, Carolina. No, Tampa, Dallas, Columbus, and Carolina is like my pick.
Yeah, I didn't want to go first, but I know everybody's gonna want to like kind of see if I'm pro Blackhawks or not. I'm not prone to insanity. This is probably the second toughest division because you all know the East is tough. This
is actually a really quite a tough division. Like, you got like at least 5 strong enough teams,
and the Blackhawks.
So what I can say is, like, with Tampa Bay, this is not the playoffs. This is the regular season. Just count them in. They like to play all these games. They like a season schedule, and they are the reigning champions. So give them that. Dallas is a really all around good team. I don't ever doubt them. They're really well coached, well disciplined. They're not too much in the penalty box if you look at their data. Going forward, beyond those two teams, then it gets a little ugly. So Columbus is a sound defensive team. They're still keeping the same coach. Have they figured out how to be offensively better? That will be a question for the season, as well as the postseason. Carolina is injury prone. I'm not wrong on that. They had a little bit of ups and downs to the regular season last year, and their downs looked a lot more than ups, but they were in a soft division where they could get in. Detroit's not going anywhere. Florida is rebuilding, but they could surprise you. You cannot doubt Florida, especially after the year of Florida. We had a whole video on that, so don't doubt them.
Yep.
Nashville is Nashville. They just lost PK. Who knows if Nashville is better from that or worse?
They've been better so far. I mean, well, actually, no, they haven't. So
we don't really know since the 2017 and the whole blow up that they had against San Jose in that conference final. Remember that?
Oh, you mean when they made the finals and played Pittsburgh and everyone thought they should?
Oh yeah, and then they made the finals the year after. Sorry, so yeah, that year when they lost. But yeah, like Chicago is in for a tough one because, and this is where the strength of schedule comes in. After they play Tampa Bay a couple games, they get Detroit between the end of half of January into February. So they can really rack up some wins and get a little bit of rest in there, and they still keep their same core with a couple of new guys, right? So you got to say to yourself, are these guys going to perform?
I'm sorry. Did you say rack up some wins? You guys don't have Kirby Doc or Jonathan Taves. Shut your mouth.
For a little bit. We still have Patrick Kane. You can't really stop him. He's going to take like 3. He needs 3 jerseys on him in order to contain him.
Yeah.
So maybe Chicago squeaks in for that 4th spot. Tampa Bay and Dallas are a shoe-in. And then from 3 down, it's anyone's pick. I'm picking Chicago to get in, and I'm picking Columbus for defense. And they're well coached.
Okay.
I am going to say this right now. That is being hopeful to like an extent. Like, I'm not even like, okay.
Hey, you know what? We're also, he's also a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so it's just in us to have way too high hopes.
Yep. Oh, we'll get to the Leafs soon.
Tyler wants to say something. Tyler,
go.
All right, so I got my central picks. Obviously, Detroit's going to be first. Just kidding, they're going to be last. But let's look at the top 4.
Fuck off.
I like the Hawks, but they're not going to be a top 4. I mean, realistically, they sent out their rebuild letter. I mean, they're kind of admitted to it. They're embracing the rebuild culture.
But then why re-sign Kane if they're rebuild? That doesn't make sense to me.
You got to have a veteran. I mean, like, I got to say, the Rangers got rid of everyone but Chris Kreider. You got to have at least one guy who's kind of the
Also, your
Special
goaltending
teams.
tandem of Malcolm Subban and I don't even remember who the other goalie
Colin
You just
Delia.
said Kane
Oh,
go retire in
God.
Buffalo.
Yeah, Colin Delia is a rebound machine, but we're not going to get into that.
All right, go.
Yeah, so realistically, I mean, Tampa at first seems like a good fit. I mean, they're down Kucherov, but I mean, it's Tampa. So they're probably a good safe number 1. I mean, Dallas is also an incredible team, so you definitely got them at 2 or 3.
They got Bishop and Godobin. So
But both are hurt.
Yeah.
for now, I mean,
That's
like
Yeah, I mean, so it's going to be a little bit of timetable on when they get back, but I know they're pretty confident in Jake Ottinger, who played for BU. So he's their, I think, starter at the current moment.
He played for BU?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. Carolina, I mean, you can't find many faults minus the fact they're injury prone. The only other thing, I still am not confident in their goaltending after 2 seasons.
I think
Should I
it's
talk
gonna-
about the Zamboni trade as their backup?
Oh yeah. David
yeah,
Ayers
that's,
is going to
that's
be
the other thing. They can't use him because he's in Toronto.
No, can't use
He
David
can't leave
Ayers.
the U.S. He can't cross
Can't
that
be-
border.
can't be using David Ayers. I think the thing with Carolina is like from top down. You look at that team, like they are good, and they can only be
yeah.
better over time. Like holy shit, that team is like gifted. That team is very blessed with like what they have. Goaltending.
I mean, so that's my point. I mean, like, once again, the Zamboni driver went in and won. So
Yes.
unless he's either like the most elite NHL prospect everyone overlooked, or they just had a really good defense.
You're
And
right. Carolina should trade for Spencer Knight.
no,
Yeah, they have
they
a really
sh-
good defense. Everybody can agree with that. And also, Toronto just looked really lazy that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm banking on the LA Kings trying to move off of a certain Jonathan Quick. I am banking on them trading him to Carolina.
I think this. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. Yeah, but
I
you
think
know, like
then they could be like a proper prospect. You got like a Stanley Cup winning goalie
Mhm.
on the team, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and-
it'll help.
If Carolina gets a good goaltender, they're in for sure.
And-
they can
yeah,
really-
that's-
And like
They're
I think
gonna- they're gonna be
that
in
will allow
regardless,
for like
but-
him to like train up the next guy. Because he's getting pretty old, right? How old?
Yeah,
is he? Like
he's I think 33,
33,
somewhere in
yeah.
there.
Are we talking
So
about
that'd
Reimer?
be a good like future 5-year
oh, yeah,
kind of
okay.
plan.
Yeah, and I mean he's not an expensive contract in terms of goaltending. I think he's at like 5-6 mil somewhere in there.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not too bad. It doesn't hurt too much.
and statistically speaking, from advanced statistics, he really has been like he faces like the highest amount of like high quality scoring chances, and he stops most of them.
Yeah.
It's just the Kings defense is also statistically terrible. So there's that.
It
Florida
was on
obviously
Team
is
USA for a reason. So.
exactly.
Wow.
So Florida's a dark horse. I mean, obviously it's Florida. I don't like the Preds. I hate John Hines. I think it was a terrible hire, and I think they're gonna go down the dark path the Devils went down under his leadership.
Don't say that too loud. You're in Nashville, aren't you?
I don't care.
I agree
He
with
has
that.
he has legitimately said worse to me about the Predators when he moved there.
Yeah.
I
No, I-
agree.
Columbus is Columbus. We all love Torts. Obviously, he's the best coach ever. I'm joking, but he's a good coach. He's gonna do whatever he can with that team to make them competitive. Even with the Pierre-Luc Dubois situation, if they move off of him, they're gonna get a lot back. So I think they're kind of at least the 4th seed. But yeah, I think Tampa, Dallas, Carolina, and Columbus will probably be those top 4.
Yeah, I think having
Not in
Max,
that order. No.
I think having Max Domi for Columbus will definitely be a big help to them now, regardless of if they lose Pierre-Luc Dubois or not. My 4 are pretty much the same as Tyler's: Tampa, Dallas, Carolina, and Columbus. I think that second spot could switch around potentially. I think Tampa's a lock for first. Like at this point, they're hungry to want to defend the Stanley Cup at this point. Also, people are bringing up the argument of, well, Nikita Kucherov is going to be out the whole season. And they're like, you're losing one of your best scorers for the whole season. That's okay. They didn't
Wasn't
have
he-
Steven Stamkos for the
Yeah.
whole fucking Stanley Cup run.
Yeah.
They're fine. Yeah, Tampa is anything. If anything is a lock, Dallas is probably a lock. Carolina is definitely a lock. Columbus, I think they're gonna just power their way through. Nashville is like, Nashville should, on paper, they should be a good team. Matt Duchene, they're paying him too much money to be on like putting up the numbers he's putting up. But it is what it is with the NHL. Man, all right.
Which one you pick, North or East?
Oh God, what do I want to deal with first? Let's do the East.
Well,
Let's
first,
do-
I just want to say like how
Sure.
how strong the defense is for at least like 4 of the 8 teams in the Central. Like,
Well, the Central Division defensively is scary.
yeah,
It's
like
Yeah, Chicago's
strong,
did
like
really
defensive teams.
Carolina's done well.
Columbus is a
Blue
defensive
lines
powerhouse.
for days.
Carolina is
Tampa's
defensive.
fantastic.
Tampa's entire team is defensive.
Florida's also not bad. They didn't make. I mean, they're not bad either.
Detroit's
it's
trying
a-
their best.
it's
You're
not a
damn
blue
right we are.
line. Like they have blue walls at this point. Like
Detroit just signed a left-handed defenseman earlier today. His name is Christian Juice. It's spelled like DJOOS. And people are making the joke that when our prospect defenseman Moritz Seider gets called up, we got to have the Juice and Seider line. But also, Moritz Seider is going to be like the next big thing defensively.
that's
So
funny. I like that.
but yeah,
like that.
Detroit is trying.
They're trying.
Troy
They're
Stetcher
trying.
and Mark Stahl is not enough, but it's something.
All of Detroit is trying.
Yes, they are.
Now the East is your
Now
definition
the East.
of
Actually, Tyler, let's have you go first.
Yeah,
we
well,
went first to last.
yeah,
Sure.
Tyler.
Oh, I love that.
Uh,
So while the Central is the defensive division, the East is the goal scoring division. I mean, that's kind of how I would look at it. Let's see. Let's be bold. The Caps aren't making the playoffs. Yeah, I'm going to start by saying
Wow.
that.
Wow,
Yeah.
some
Trust me,
bold
he
movement.
That's-
told me
that's
that.
even
I'm like,
I mean,
bolder
I want to
than-
talk about it, but you go ahead and continue. We'll talk
Bro,
about
that's
that.
even more bold than like Chicago
Gladly.
being in.
Oh, I'm
Parse
glad to
pick.
talk about this. I mean, let's go just top 4. I mean, Bruins, obviously, good organization, losing Krug, but the Bruins just time and time again draft people who come out of nowhere and come through the woodwork.
Charo's
and
gone too.
Chara was hurting them.
I know, but
They got
For a
better
long
by
time.
losing
I've been
Chara.
calling for him to get traded since like 13.
I mean, I've been calling for Patrice Bergeron to be captain for like 3 years at this point, but there we go. Finally,
I
he got
weirdly
named.
think the Bruins have gotten better. Rask is back. He's got his family issues dealt with. He's ready to go. I mean, with Halak, I mean, they're probably top 3 goalie tandem in the league, if not the most solid and consistent goalie tandem in the league. So I mean, you got to have the Bruins at the top. I think the Flyers aren't far behind. I hate to say that, but I do think the Flyers have a very solid team.
You know to be
you got-
true.
Yeah, you got
They
Cat a
showed
Hat.
you something in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
If they can just play some defense.
well exactly. But even then, they got Cat a Hat, so it doesn't matter.
Yo, get gritty on the ice.
What'd you say,
No,
Cata?
Literally.
What'd you say? Did you say
Cata.
Cata hat?
Yeah, Cat a Hat.
Cata
Cata?
hat.
Good old Cata.
Yeah, and Gritty, I think, is allowed in the stadium now. I signed a petition.
Gritty
to get
is
him in
allowed
there.
in the stadium. Yes,
Yeah,
I
I signed
also
a
part of that. Gritty is allowed.
Oh my
So
god.
that basically secures them a spot.
He's just gonna. Who is he going to harass then? Like the employees who are working, like the camera crew. There's
Coaches.
no one allowed in the audience.
He's just gonna sneak up behind the opposing coach bench and just spook everybody.
He's gonna be the Flyers version of Drake at
Yep.
at the Raptors game.
Just giving people shoulder massages. You know how fucking scary that would be to just like feel something massaging your back, and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all that feels great, and you look to your back, it's fucking Gritty in an empty arena.
I'm gonna tune into every single Flyers game for this, man.
I might have to.
So now it's going to be a little interesting. I put the Islanders up in the top 4 as well. I mean, I feel like
Good
they're-
man. Good
they are
man.
I
consistent,
think
really
they're very
consistent.
consistent.
and they've got their new star Russian goalie ready to go. I think also bringing in Corey Schneider, putting him on the taxi squad was a good move. I mean, he brings a veteran presence, put him with the best goalie coach probably in the league, if not top 5, and Mitch Korn. I mean, he's going to be fine.
A lot of light.
Now, obviously, I'm a little biased, but I think the Rangers have made good moves. I mean, they got rid of Mark Stahl. I mean, obviously, Alexis Lafreniere is now part of the team. They got a new assistant coach, and I think honestly, I'm drawing. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank on the name. It'll come to me. But he coached with Coach Sullivan and the Penguins when they went on their cup runs. He was their kind of genius behind their defense. So getting him in the room with David Quinn, kind of doing a nice defensive strategy with the Rangers and really taking advantage of the young blue liners they have. I honestly, not even being biased, I think the Rangers are kind of going to go for that fourth spot. They got a good duo in goaltending, and honestly, I have a lot of faith in them this year.
I mean, I ask you
okay.
Just update us all.
What, Parse?
What happened to Henrik?
Man.
So yeah, he had a lot of heart issues. Apparently, he's been doing it from his whole career. And it just playing. Yeah, it got to the point though where he can't play anymore.
So like that's my gripe with it. My gripe is like I love the hires. I love the youngness. It's just Henrik's not there to tell the young guns when they're messing up, right? Before it happens, and to save them when it does. And that's where I'm like, I would have put them there. The Islanders, I agree with you.
See, the thing about I get the whole Hank thing, but I mean, I hate to say this, he was the statistically worst goalie on their roster last year. And even though he was the veteran in the room, I mean, they got Chris Kreider, they got Panarin. They have their young core of leaders who really has kind of just taken over the room. And even just based off how they kind of carry themselves, social media posts and all that stuff, like Hank kind of wasn't the figure anymore last year. Shesterkin's kind of came in and proven that he's the goalie, whether it's 1A or just the first overall goalie. I mean, that's just what he's done. And I think they're probably a good fourth seed. Like I said, I'm not convinced that the Caps in their recent retirement home kind of mindset of getting Zdeno Chara and Craig Anderson is the right move. But I could be wrong. They're also going to go probably with a new system with coaching just because they have a new coach. So, yeah.
Goaltending isn't what it once was in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my gripe with them is that they can score the puck, but I feel like Ovi is having Ovi's just chasing goals at this point. He knows he doesn't have a team that can go get him another ring just because there's a bunch of gripes actually in the forward. If you look at it, the forwards are having a lot of problems following Ovi. They're all like, I want to get my shine. I want to go ahead and do my own thing.
All Ovi cares about at this point is the Gretzky record. That's all he cares about.
This is not the Malkin Crosby combination. This is just Ovi and Ovi show. It's been like that for a while, but a lot of the forwards they have were okay with it. Now they want to take over shit.
I think the thing is with Ovi, right? Like he's always said, like he wanted to win a Stanley Cup. He got his Stanley Cup. At this point,
job's done.
He's won everything he needs to. All that's missing now, since he hit 700, is the Gretzky record. That's all he wants. Oh, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's just whether or not he breaks the all-time goals record. He's got like 180 more to go.
I see.
Yeah, it's like, and if he plays at a consistent like 40 goal pace, if he plays till he's about 40, yeah, no, he's got this. He's got.
Who's your picks in the East?
This was legitimately the toughest division for me to figure out. Like I shit you not, I was telling Tyler this like last week or something, but what I did was I put a voice memo on my phone of all my picks, and the whole voice memo is about 55 minutes long. Half an hour of that is me scrolling through Cap Friendly, looking through the East Division rosters, and just shaking my head going, what the hell is even going on here?
I can imagine that.
So I believe I said the Bruins are getting in. I don't see them not getting in. I think if anything, they're hungrier now, and plus they're getting older. Philly's definitely getting in. Pittsburgh's going to miss the playoffs this year. I think Pittsburgh's going to miss this year. I know people are like, oh, Crosby and Malkin. It's like, yeah, but the rest of the team. If those two are down, then they're done. Even with like goaltending, Tristan Jarry, they gave up Matt Murray because they knew Tristan Jarry was going to be the next big guy. Like when they gave up Fleury because Murray was going to be the next big guy. But I don't see like cup-winning star potential interest in Jari. I see star potential, but I don't see the cup-winning part of it. Yeah, Pittsburgh's gonna miss the playoffs. So Bruins, Philly, the Islanders are definitely getting in. I said the Caps at first, and Tyler and I were talking about this a few days ago, and he did bring up his points that he brought up earlier on the show about why he thinks the Caps aren't getting in, and I agree. Thinking about it now, probably at this point, it's probably going to be the Rangers if the Caps don't figure out a way to squeak themselves in. Call me crazy, legitimately, call me crazy. Buffalo's going to be 5th. And potentially in that running to somehow sneak in. Now, granted, they might get destroyed, but
5th.
Yeah, call me crazy.
5th.
I disagree with you. I put them 4th.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's a shock. Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Here's my thing on it. This is the toughest division to pick. I think everybody agrees. This division is crazy. You can't really put somebody anywhere. Just say that I'm just throwing them in. I'm throwing Philly in, and I'm throwing Buffalo in because this is a scoring division, and I feel like out of all those 7 teams, Buffalo's gonna figure out a way to play some defense. Out of all 7 of those teams, even Boston, I feel like Buffalo's gonna find
okay with defense. They're strong.
gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out.
I don't know.
Islanders are in. Philly's in. Islanders are in. I'm picking Buffalo to get in. I have different feelings about Boston. You guys bring up a good point with the goalies. I have different feelings. So I'm going to make a bold prediction and say the Capitals are in. And the Bruins are missing out, and the Penguins are missing out. And the Rangers are missing out.
Wow, we got a lot of bold predictions on in this.
This division's fucking weird, okay?
This division is divisive.
Oh, ha. Yeah, I knew if anything when we were going to be talking about this is going to be like the most difficult because like with the East and the center, not the East, with the West and the Central, at least there it's like okay, yeah, we have like an idea who's probably going to be first, who's going to be second, and then third and fourth are like a switch around depending on who. This is like it's basically going to be a dogfight for 4th place. Never mind first. It's just going to be a dogfight for the whole like just for top 4. Besides Jersey. And also with like, the retirement of Corey Crawford as announced earlier today, that'll definitely hit them harder. And at this point, it's Blackwood and it's Scott Wedgwood, right? That's his backup?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Jersey. You got another year of not being good. I don't know how to put it.
My picks are New Jersey Devils, the New Jersey Devils.
What?
The New Jersey Devils.
Wait, what's happening Devils. Here? Hold on. Oh, no.
Let's go.
They cloned themselves.
God. I don't want
Clone Wars.
Look, I love PK Subban. I don't need
Subban's going to
PK
execute
Subban's.
Order 66.
Please stop before someone
going to change his jersey number to 66.
Stop before someone finds this podcast and thinks of it as an idea and then tells Sportsnet, hey, we should do a Star Wars thing where PK Subban. Like, no. Anyways, yeah, so the East is very much like a dice roll. It's a toss-up. Finally, the North Division, our home division, the all-Canadian.
The fun division.
The fun division. Now, before I say what the hell I'm about to say, right? Everyone I've been reading up on, or everyone I've been listening to, so TSN, Sportsnet guys, like everyone out there, The Athletic, yada yada yada. Everyone is saying the same thing. The Leafs are gonna be the first spot. They are going to take the first spot in this division. Now, here's the problem. If there's anything we've learned from being Leafs fans, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. You're expecting chaos from them. Like they could be the first place team in their division. They could also be the 5th. There is no in, but they could be second. They could be third. They could be. It really depends, because this team is so strange.
Tyler,
like
how do you feel?
I don't know, Tyler. You're the only not Canadian one here. Go.
That is correct.
How do you feel?
I mean, Vancouver's obviously a good top 4. I think we start there. I think we address the. Let's start with a good one. I think Vancouver is solid. They got Braden Holtby now.
The elephant in the room.
They lose Jacob Markstrom, but they got Holtby. They got Nate Schmidt. I think they made a lot of good moves. I think they're another playoff bound team. Ottawa, I love what they're doing. I still think they're a year or two out. I still think they got a little bit of building to do, but I think they're on the right path. And I think they're going to be fine starting kind of next year. But this year, I still think they're a little low in the mark. I'm going to save Toronto for last. Calgary, I like Calgary. I think they made some good moves this offseason, but I feel like they could go either way. Let's see. Edmonton, I mean, you got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, they're kind of very goal scoring heavy. They have a decent enough defense. Goaltending is probably their weak point, but they'll score enough that it doesn't matter. Montreal's got Price. So, I mean, that's enough said. Winnipeg, I don't see making the playoffs. I'm still not sold. I think Connor Hellebuck's great. I think their defense for what it is actually quite good. I just don't think they have the ability to keep up goal scoring with the other teams in that division. So if I had to give a top four before I even bring up Toronto, let's see, where's my list? There it is. I got the Oilers, Vancouver. Oh, what else do I got? I'm just going to keep with Oilers and Vancouver. I'm not sure about the other two yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. But Toronto's the elephant. You don't know what they're going to do.
I think Toronto wins that division. Off of two reasons. One, it's not the playoffs. And two, there's no Boston. So and this is the thing, that team is built very, very nicely, very, very well, but they lack discipline and they lack a vision. Taking Boston, Tampa Bay, the whole East, Buffalo, your nearby rivals, taking all that away, let's put you over here with these Canadian teams who, let's be frank with everybody, they're not good.
Yeah.
Like 3 of them are not really good. So they're there, and it's like, okay, do something. Well, we just got our butts kicked in the playoffs by a Columbus team with no goal scoring. We got to prove to everybody we're actually decent enough. Prove that we don't have to blow the team up. They're going to do well. They may not – now, Oilers may steal their spot, but I'm confident Toronto will take it just because it's the regular season. Playoffs are a different story. I got Toronto up top. Edmonton is a close second. This is where things get tricky. After Vancouver is slotted in the third, definitely slotted in the third. There's no questions about that. Between the Senators, Calgary, and Jets, Laine's injury last year is tough for me to believe in. The team is decent enough. We'll see if Ottawa surprises us, and I'm praying, please, Ottawa, surprise everybody in the show and everybody in the world. You know, make the playoffs. I'm praying for it. Calgary is decent enough. Nothing really changes with their team, I don't think.
Did you mean the Calgary Canucks? Because they basically took everyone from Vancouver.
Yeah, I picked Calgary to be in the fourth spot or even the third to beat Vancouver. Vancouver's getting in for sure. I just don't know if they'd be third or fourth. But top two is definitely Toronto and Oilers, or you can interchange them. Okay. But I'm hoping that Ottawa surprises us with some goal scoring and some really crazy play and gets it. Yeah. I didn't pick them.
Anton.
Well, Tyler, you say your thing first.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I gotta say, Parse, I actually agree with you on the Leafs. You persuaded me a little bit there. I think they're going to be a top two. I gotta say, Oilers will either, as you kind of said, they're going to battle it out with them. I still think Montreal could get that fourth spot over Calgary. I still feel it.
I believe in Carey Price, but he told office. I swear to you, I wasn't there, but he told the front office, "I want my ring. Put me in a position to get the ring." And they made up a couple. They got into the playoffs, sneaked in. They had a little bit of the trade deadline moves, and they were in a really good position. If it wasn't for them just not being able to play in the third period, they would have won against the Flyers.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I still could see them taking that fourth spot from Calgary.
Does Carey believe in this team still? I think he's already looking at vacation, just saying, "I had a great career."
You never know, man. He's won the battle.
He
is a battler.
When Carey Price wants to go on God mode, he will go on God mode. Like, he will just flip that switch and it's over. So, all right, Anton.
Yeah. So you already know what I'm going to say. We got Winnipeg Jets number 1, Winnipeg Jets number 2, Winnipeg Jets number 3, and at number 4, you got
The Winnipeg Wets.
Once more, yeah. No, unfortunately, this is not the Winnipeg Jets of 2016. So, yeah. We lost half our blue line like
I love that team.
2 years ago.
2016 was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think, that they're. I think they're out of the question. Yeah, I think you know what. You got Edmonton, Toronto, and Vancouver. Those are like they're gonna like kind of switch around for like the top 3 spot throughout the season. I think, especially in the second half of the season. And I think that 4th spot's gonna go to either Calgary or Montreal. I just think that I don't know. I think just Montreal has been kind of like for the past decade or so, they've been kind of that we're good enough to get into the playoffs kind of team, just get there by the skin of their teeth. But Calgary has been really doing a lot to improve themselves. And like you said earlier, that they just basically ported over everyone from the Canucks. So but
first class
definitely.
or third class?
But first class.
You said porter.
But I definitely think that top 3 is gonna be Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver. It's gonna kind of hop around between the 3. And I'm just because I am a fan, I'm gonna say dark horse. You got the Winnipeg Jets there, just because you got a little bit of hopeful thinking, wishful thinking. Yeah.
Speaking of hopeful thinking, all right, top 3 for me are definitely going to be Toronto, Vancouver, and Edmonton. In what order? Who knows? I had to do a coin flip between Montreal and Calgary for that 4th spot. It could be either. It really Calgary's one of those teams where they've really done a lot of shopping during trade deadline just to get shit done. But I don't know if it's going to click yet. Also, the Johnny Gaudreau issues. Do they want to build the team around him moving forward? Do they want to trade him? Yada, 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 yada. It's just, bleh. Anyways, Montreal's got a really good young team coming up. They're really good coming up because you got Nick Suzuki, Jesper Kotkaniemi, and eventually when Dylan Cousins is ready, not Dylan Cousins, Cole Caulfield, when he's ready, right, they're going to be really good offensively. Defensively, they're getting better as the days go by. Carey Price is Carey Price. It doesn't really matter. He could be good whenever he wants to be. The Oilers are such a strange team in that, and going off what Tyler said earlier, they don't have to worry. They just score goals. Leave McDavid and Draisaitl do what they do best, and they won't have to worry too much about goaltending. Now then, I feel with the acquisition of Tyson Barrie, defense is going to help a lot. Yeah. And plus, hopefully, Barrie will prove that he is actually that power play point man that the Leafs wanted last year. Yeah. So we'll see about that. Vancouver, I think all around is a really good team going forward. Very young. Braden Holtby-Annette is going to be great for them. Thatcher Demko's on the rise as the potential second starter or a 1B goalie, if you want to call it. Defensively, they're still good. They lost a few pieces here and there, but they're still okay. But now, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I had said this about 2 or 3 months ago when they had been making all their signings. And I'm going to keep to it until I start watching them play next week. What they're doing is a Hail Mary attempt at the Cup. Everyone they've signed so far screams that this is we're taking the shot, and regardless of what decision it goes, we're going with it. We're following that. We're following that trajectory. You sign Wayne Simmons, Jimmy Vesey, who Jimmy Vesey doesn't do shit. He's supposed to be good, but okay. And you get Joe Thornton, one of the greatest, if not the greatest passer we have in the league. and they're having him on the first line with Matthews and Marner.
That was
And he's potentially starting on the first line for the first few games of the season. Like, this is a legitimate Hail Mary attempt at the Stanley Cup with the team they have now put together following that Columbus embarrassment. Now, Tyler, say what you want to say. We're gonna finish off at this point.
I mean, Joe Thornton's the most elite player in the league, Yusuf. He's going to take you all to the promised land to get the Stanley Cup.
You crazy, man?
What Stanley Cup? He still doesn't have one either.
Exactly.
The problem.
What's Joe gonna do? Like, he's just.
He's gonna be feeding. If anything, Matthews and Marner are gonna have great stats this year. That's about it.
Yeah, one less player to shoot the puck.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whatever team wins this division, I don't see them getting a cup.
No,
I don't want to be that guy.
The competition is brutal.
Maybe
getting out of that.
If they have a good enough decent road.
Well, the thing is, we know that when the playoffs happen, it'll be like the first team, first seed plays fourth, second plays third, and then those two teams will face off, and then one team from each division goes to the semifinals, and then you have the finals, meaning we will have a Canadian team in the semifinals. But who the hell, or I guess whatever finals you're going to call it. But if it's Toronto, Edmonton, or Vancouver, which is I think the pick for everyone to potentially get out of that division. Say you have a team like Toronto. Okay. Say you have a team like Toronto, who of course is so that you're like, okay, they won the first round. They finally won a round. Oh my God. They carry that momentum up until the second round. They play whoever they play in the second round. Say it's Vancouver. They beat Vancouver. Now, whoever they have to play after that will be based on seeding. That's going to be decided later. We're not going to be able to predict that now. If they have to play a team like Vegas or Colorado or Tampa or any of the East teams, I salute you. Thank you for trying.
I think they rise under pressure.
I think they will. And Tyler, do you have any other point to say, by the way? Because anything? Okay, I can finish off with this. I've been doing a lot of reading. I read a lot from most of the time. Also, with not a lot to do. I've been reading a lot more. But one book in particular I have been reading, I have it right here, is Brian Book's biography. Brian Burke, Burke's Law, Life in Hockey. Really great. Reading up on his life as a GM, his life as a player agent, everything. It's a very good in-depth look at a very polarizing figure that Brian Burke has been. Now, Burke, in his book, has a chart that he wrote out years ago where it explains from it's very in-depth. Maybe in editing, I'll just put a picture of it up or something, but basically it in-depth explains every single position on the team and the criteria for each player going from first line forwards all the way to the backup goalie to win a cup. And it's something that he figured out when he was the GM for Anaheim when they won the cup in 2007. And I've been reading his book. I've been learning a lot of things, but every now and then I've been looking back at that page where the chart is, and I go, the Leafs are starting to look like this chart. And now, I'm looking at the roster and I'm looking at how they're looking right now at training camp and their lines, and I'm not saying they're going to win the cup, but I think the Leafs are now finally starting to look like that team that can do it. The other problem is it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, yeah, I don't know. Toronto, Vancouver, Edmonton, they're all filling those criteria, but well, we just gotta wait for that to happen. All right. So for final thoughts, since we're gonna wrap up, instead of just talking overall about everything, I want you guys to give me your hottest possible take for this NHL season. It could be anything. Your hottest possible take.
Bro, we are going so overtime right now.
I know we are, but this is how we're ending it. This will take a second.
Honest take, Tampa Bay is not repeating. Simple as that.
Fair enough. Tyler?
Give me last. I'm still thinking.
Fine. My hottest take will be screw it. Vancouver's winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I don't know. I already made my predictions.
Just think of the dumbest thing you could think of. Like Gritty fights like John Tortorella or something. Oh, that should have been it.
I don't know if this is a hot take other than like prediction. They might have to like can't just outright cancel a few games just due to like COVID. That's just like a prediction.
Right. That's a thing.
I was going to say Ovechkin does not win the goal scoring title this season.
I could see that happening. I could actually see that happening.
I mean, I already said Cap's not making the playoffs. So I don't know how much hotter of a take I could take.
OV retires. Yeah. We did go over time, but it's been a good conversation. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to have the show back for the year. We're going to be doing more stuff as the days go by. So stay tuned for all that. That being said, of course, find us on Spotify, Breaker, Google Play, Anchor. We're not on iTunes. Not yet. We are. YouTube. We're on YouTube. Find us on YouTube at SportCulation. You can find us there and anywhere you find your podcasts. And until next time, I am Yusuf.
I am Parse.
I'm Anton.
I'm Tyler.
Parse, you took too goddamn long. This has been the SportCulation.
I wasn't sure Anton was going to go.
The suspense.
Okay, see you guys.
Okay, this has been the SportCulation podcast. Goodbye.